Kettering Town have never beaten Rushden Diamonds here at Rockingham Road. 6 previous meetings between these two sides. 4 wins for the Diamonds, 1 win for Kettering on that memorable day at Nen Park at the back end of last season, and just the 1 draw. That was here at Rockingham Road last season, David, 0-0. Darren Collins got sent off and it wasn't much of a game, was it?
Not a very pretty game, and I'm sure everybody, big crowd tonight as well, will be hoping for a lot better. There's everything to play for at this early stage in the season, and I know the Kettering fans will be hoping they can put one over the visitors from down the road.
Well, that was de Souza crossing in an early ball there for Rushden, which eluded Underwood. It was Wayne Duke, and that will be easy for Ray Warburton to touch the ball back to his ex-Cobblers teammate Billy Turley, who has actually spent some time here at Rockingham Road, the Diamonds goalkeeper tonight, Billy Turley.
Yeah, 3 months loan a couple of years ago when Steve Berry was the manager. He certainly impressed then, and now has made the trip from the county ground, or rather Sixfields, as it is now, of course, to Nen Park. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on tonight.
Well, that was Duke sliding in there with Gary Butterworth. Nice play by Peters, up to de Souza. And de Souza and Carl Adams there. There's going to be so much needle in this match, no love lost between these two sides, and of course we only have to cast our minds back to the match here at Rockingham Road we were mentioning earlier, David. Last season, Darren Collins sent off, not a pretty game, and there's so many personal battles almost out there.
Yeah, there certainly is. I'm not sure that it carries over into the next season. I think both sides want to win just for the sake of winning, but it's always nice, of course, to get one over your local rivals.
That's Brown hooking the ball towards the far post, where McNamara is trying to direct that ball back to Tony Locke. McElhatton with him. And Locke in a bit of a corner, is he, on the far side? Well, he wins the throw-in. And good, strong travelling contingent that have made the 11-mile trip down the A6 to Rockingham Road. McElhatton clearing. Picked up by Valdeno. And that was Brown, I think, trying to get the effort in on goal. Plenty of Diamonds players in front of him, though. They managed to charge that down. That was Cox. And Warburton won that strongly in the air.
Good opening by Kettering, though, Andrew. They're pressing forward pretty well. Certainly having the best of the possession in these early moments, and they'll want to try and capitalise on that.
Well, both sides looking for that all-important early goal, which would settle the nerves. And I guess in matches of this nature, with so much local passion at stake, local pride and passion, it might well come down to the team that settles first.
I think that's probably right. Interestingly, the Kettering, since Peter Morris took over, have never lost when they've scored first. So if they can get the early goal, it will certainly lift their confidence.
Well, not a lot of people know that, and I must admit I didn't until tonight. But Diamonds are actually looking to become the first team to win at Rockingham Road since Easter Monday. Stevenage Borough, David, the last side to come here and pick up all 3 conference points.
And that really put paid to the Poppies Championship chances last season as well. Our old friend Carl Alford was the scorer of the first goal then. He won't be playing tonight, that's for sure.
And talking about Carl Alford, he's picked up from where he left off at the back end of last season, already with 6 goals under his belt, and Stevenage have made such an impressive start to this new conference campaign. Well, this is Tony Locke trying to make headway into the danger area as far as Kettering are concerned. Now de Souza. Out wide him, there is Mark Cooper. And Cooper's cross, Meissen with a header, off and upright, and de Souza will score the opening goal in the local derby for Rushden Diamonds, just 7 minutes gone, and that's a terrible blow for the Poppies.
Well, that really is something that the Poppies didn't want. The Diamonds fans obviously delighted, and quite right too from their point of view. Bad defending here, I think, from Kettering. The ball swung in high. Meissen beating Colin Bowden. Good header by Meissen, and no one covering that post. There was de Souza able to knock it into an empty net. Bad defending, and the Poppies have been guilty of conceding 1 or 2 sloppy goals this season, and they'll be very, very disappointed with that indeed.
Well, good deep cross into the area there. Meissen leapt superbly, actually. I think Solid was beaten there, and de Souza, he won't score an easier goal. Well, we were talking just a few moments ago about the necessity for both sides to get that early goal, David, to settle the nerves, and it's gone to the visitors.
Yeah, it certainly has. And
McElhatton, and that could have been 2-0 within a minute.
Well, the Poppies really rocked back on their heels now, and Hatton was very close to getting a second goal there. Paul Cox here under pressure from Myson. He's upsetting everybody at the minute, and Hatton coming through. He will feel that he should have done better than that. He should have got that shot on target, and it might have been curtains for the Poppies. As it is, of course, they've still got every opportunity. Long way to go to get back in the game.
Well, Hatton will certainly feel that he should have done better there. He's currently the Diamonds' top scorer this season with 5 goals. He's become a bit of a Brian Robson in the sense that he likes to get forward late, deep runs into the area to meet balls in from either flank. And it's something he's been doing with great success in this opening month of the season. Well, this is Carl Adams now for Kettering. And a searching ball which goes nowhere there for the Poppies. And they need to take this game by the scruff of the neck.
The goal, though, Andrew, has certainly got the game going. And for the impartial observer, and there can't be many, that really was ideal, whichever way the goal went.
And that's Underwood and Wayne Duke there. Nice touch by Tony Locke into Phil Brown, and Peters stopped him in his tracks there. That's Butterworth pumping the ball forward. Comes through easily to Solid though, who slips it instantly to Paul Cox. It's
going to be a test of the Poppies' resolve here. There's so much at stake even at this stage of the season with this local derby. Peter Morris, I know, will not be at all impressed if Bron Talbot gets one over him tonight.
Well, Kettering came so close last season to topping the conference and gaining promotion to the Football League. Thing is, can they eradicate any... Well, that's almost a slip by Billy Turley. And Sam Banya tried his luck from 25 yards out on a wide position, way out on the left. And that could have been a disastrous moment for Turley. He must have seen his career flashing through his mind there.
Well, it makes you wonder which team he was playing for there. He was very lucky indeed. Terrible mistake by him. Gives Kettering this corner.
That's Phil Brown pinging it in. Banya was beaten on the near post, but it's come back to Phil Brown, who whips it instantly back into the mix. And De Souza's attempted clearance is charged down. It's already so frenetic in these opening stages at Rockingham Road, but just before Billy Turley nearly produced one of the most comedy moments of the season. Just going to say, David, Kettering have got to start moving up the table, I suppose, swiftly to stop people saying that last season was a flash in the pan. Well, that's Banya almost capitalising on a neat flick, but on a slightly different wavelength there to Brett McNamara.
I don't think last year was a flash in the pan at all for Kettering. It may have taken some other teams by surprise, but Peter Morris is a very resolute manager, and he knows exactly what he's doing. And the Poppies start, although it hasn't been what people would have expected, it really hasn't been that bad. And I've been saying all season that it's very early days yet, and the Poppies' run towards the title tilt last year didn't start until about October or November, so I wouldn't read too much into the start this season.
Well, the Diamonds, on the other hand, of course, we all know that they equalled the best start to a conference season last term with those 7 straight wins. And it all went a bit pear-shaped for them. They fell away badly, particularly after Christmas, after they got sidetracked by the FA Cup heroics with Leeds United. Well, that's Carl Adams making a very early exit.
I think he got a knock in a challenge with De Souza right early on. Looks as if he's got a bit of ankle problem, and Matt Fisher, who hasn't been playing that well this season, he comes on. He's got a chance to redeem himself, and he's probably just the sort that you need in a battling game like this.
That's Hopkins. Warburton wins that in the air. Up towards Myson. Myson and Cox, and Duke manages to hook that clear for Kettering. Banya tries to skip away from Butterworth and tries to go past Peters, and he's brought down and he's clutching his knee. I'm not too sure how injured he is there.
I think it was a robust challenge. I think it was a foul. Nobody can complain about that. I think Peters got in Banya's way, but they'll both get up and carry on. Kettering will get the free kick.
And Peters will become the first, and I'm quite sure not the last player tonight to be yellow carded. Well, vociferous singing from around us, Davey. The Kettering fans singing in no uncertain terms, stand up if you hate the Diamonds.
Well, you can't blame them for that. It would just be nice for the club if they all came every week and did it.
That's Meissen clearing, helping out in defence there for Rushden Diamonds. Substitute Fisher. Locke trying to force a passage through that Diamonds back line. Underwood and Meissen completes the clearance, and at the minute it's all hands to the pump for the Diamonds at the back there. Kettering in the middle of a good spell.
Yeah, they certainly are, and the Diamonds' defence looks to me to be a little bit well at 6s and 7s with itself, and given that they train with each other every day, it's a bit surprising that, but the Poppies won't mind if they can make this pressure count.
In the opening matches of the season, most of the talk at Nen Park has been how much of a far more solid outfit the Diamonds looked than last season, and certainly in the matches that I've seen they do look a more well-rounded unit. But having said that, I was at the game on Saturday against Woking at Nen Park, and it was just like watching a repeat of a game from last season. The Diamonds looked good in the first half and then totally fell away after half-time. Much was made of the lack of team spirit, if you want to call it that, in the Diamonds camp last season. Only time will tell whether they've managed to instill some in this new campaign. Still so early though, David.
Oh yes, of course it is. I'm just wondering, Andrew, I've not seen the Diamonds, of course, this season. But Meissen, I think going through there solid, clearing the ball away. I'm just wondering how much the presence of Ray Warburton, who's impressed me in these early moments, has made to making that Diamonds defence a bit more solid. He's certainly a player of quality and experience.
Well, Warburton was signed, 11 months ago from the Cobblers, and it must be said that the majority of last season was a bit ropey for Warburton. He was dogged by injury and only played really a handful of games in the end. Missed the first couple of games of this season, but certainly, well, De Souza there, that's an animated dive. A replay might tell us whether he was the victim of a cynical challenge there. Well, I'm not too sure. He was actually touched there, was he? I think Wayne Duke was the player involved.
I think that it certainly was fairly theatrical. I don't think if he was caught it wasn't very bad, but in today's game this sort of thing happens. Players do make the most of it, and as a consequence we see yellow cards aplenty, and Wayne Duke's finding his name in the referee's notebook.
And I think Wayne Duke's fairly hard done by there. Didn't look to me as if he'd done too much wrong, trying to put his foot in to win the ball off De Souza, and that was a dive in my opinion.
I'm not sure Terry Wesley thought there was too much wrong with it either. I think he probably enjoyed that moment.
Hence the smile across his face. Well, this is Kettering trying to build once again. A goal down at Rockingham Road. Miguel de Souza, the Diamonds goal scorer within the opening 10 minutes. And that's Underwood. A nice little ball there inside to Cooper. Hatton. Meissen. One-touch stuff from the Diamonds here. De Souza wants to shoot and dragged it across the face of goal. And the Poppies fans enjoyed that one.
I think the Poppies have settled down after that early goal having been conceded, and they've been pretty solid these last few games. As we've said, shaky in the opening games of the season, but the last three they're unbeaten, and that solidity which we saw last season I think is gradually coming back. They win a corner there.
So far this season, of course, it's been the Poppies away form which has undermined their campaign. Yet to win away from home.
Yeah, and they had a good away season last year, so as we were saying all along, plenty of time yet.
Well, that's Turley almost getting in a fumble there. Colin Bowden was lurking ominously on the far post, and Turley does look slightly suspect.
I think that the Poppies might try and exploit that a little bit. I'm surprised because from what I remember of Billy Turley, he was really a very accomplished goalkeeper, but he's having a bit of a nightmare tonight so far. Reflex
stops and shot stopping I think is his strength. He's not the tallest of goalkeepers, and when he finds himself trying to hook a ball out of the air in massive players inside the area, I think he struggles, and he did just a few moments ago when Bowden threatened to embarrass him. Well, that's Underwood doing well, keeping the ball in play. De Souza nicked off his toes though there by Craig Hopkins, and that's Banya involved. McNamara penalised there though for the foul. Brett McNamara yet to score this season.
Yeah, he scored in all four of the opening games last season, and everybody thought he was the new Robbie Cook, but he really hasn't looked like getting on the score sheet, although he's played quite a few games at left wing back, so I suppose his chances have been more limited this year.
Well, that was Cox taking the throw in up the line. Hopkins wins the corner and does well. He was in a bit of a blind alley there.
Craig Hopkins has come on very well. He had a tough year last year, but showing a lot of promise this season.
Well, the Diamonds will look to break here. Cooper picks up the loose ball over on that far side and gives the ball straight away to Wayne Duke. Well, that's just an indication of just how greasy the surface is at Rockingham Road tonight. It's been raining fairly solidly, and that's Brady chopping at the ankles of Wayne Duke, and that might well be tonight's third yellow card.
Bad tackle that by Brady. In the World Cup, last year or a couple of years ago, he might have been sent off for that. He just can't tackle from behind, and Wayne Duke was understandably pretty annoyed there. Fairly
petulant stuff from Brady, and he has got a tendency to do that sort of thing from time to time, particularly when he gets rattled. But this is Phil Brown, and that's Turley punching, and McNamara swinging his left boot at that ball. Tony Locke on the far side. Inside there to Brown. That's Duke. Warburton wins that in the air well. De Souza there. Comes back into the box, and that will come safely through to Billy Turley. Still, the Diamonds protect this one-goal lead. A goal given to them on 7 minutes by Miguel de Souza.
The Poppers pushing forward though at every opportunity, and there's certainly a match for the Diamond side. They just haven't been able to get that shot on goal that might just bring them back into the game.
Well, that's Cooper's header, not finding a fellow Diamond. Comes through to Adam Sollett. And I guess in many ways, Dave, Peter Morris will be relieved that he's managed to keep the bulk of the side that achieved that runners-up spot in the conference last season. And well, that's Banya, almost a chance for him there, and Peters does well. And it's all a bit messy inside the box there, and that's Fisher gone down, and Turley has to save. But what's the referee given? Well, that's a penalty.
I think it is a penalty, and looks to me like it was Matt Fisher who was brought down, taken out somewhere around his chest by the looks of it.
Well, it was so messy inside the area. Goodness knows who made the foul. We might get a clearer indication here as the action slowed down. Peters and Brady tried to get the ball clear unsuccessfully. Well, that's definitely Cooper on Fisher, turning with a good save, but it wouldn't have mattered.
Wouldn't have mattered. It's a penalty now. Craig Norman, I guess, will take this.
Well, Craig Norman has never missed a penalty for Kettering, and he doesn't. 1-1 in the local derby. Kettering a level on 34 minutes, and that's exactly what they needed.
Well, they've been having to rely on penalties the last few games to get them results, but when you've got someone like Craig Norman in your side, if you get a penalty, you get a goal. They talk about Canu, I think, for Arsenal as being the best penalty taker in the Premier Division. Well, I reckon Craig Norman's probably the best penalty taker in football, and Billy Turley really had no chance of that.
Well, smooth penalty by Norman, left-footed. I mean, Turley even went the right way, but Craig Norman, it's so uncanny. Never missed a penalty. Turley goes the right way here, and they always used to go on. You mentioned Canu there for Arsenal. I always remember Matt Letitia never missing penalties. Craig Norman's record is astonishing.
Absolutely magnificent. If you're a Kettering fan, he's just so cool. He knows what he's going to do every time, and he just knows that he's not going to miss. The closest he came to missing for Kettering was when he took a penalty last year against Telford, and Mickey Norbury, who was in goal because the goalkeeper had been sent off, almost stopped him, and that would have been a bit of a shame for Craig, but well, he has got such a phenomenal record that it almost beggars belief.
Vital for Kettering to get back on level terms 10 minutes before the interval. I mean, it's a case of when a side's 1-0 up in a local derby, it gets to half-time, we're still in front. You'd fancy the Diamonds to shut up shop in the second half. Well, De Souza's progress checked there by the linesman's flag. Myson had strayed offside. And Peter Morris, certainly a far more happy man than he was, 3 minutes ago. Well, De Souza kicked the ball away there, needlessly. Another pointless yellow card.
And just before half-time as well, the Poppers really will be quite relieved, I think, to get into half-time on level terms, although I think they've done more than a match for Diamonds, and probably on this first half honours pretty even.
Well, it's certainly been a good first half, a lot better than the game we had here last season. Banya! Sam Banya there letting fly from 25 yards. Banya, just the one goal so far this season for Kettering, and I guess almost an unknown quantity. Peter Morris has taken the opportunity to have a look at him in these first few games of the season. Not being helped, in a sense, I suppose. He's not been playing with a regular partner.
No, he hasn't, and he needs some goals to boost his confidence. He's a lovely lad, and he's as keen as mustard, but he just needs to find the back of the net with a bit more regularity, and I reckon then that he'll be a pretty good player.
Well, that was Peters forced into a hurried clearance. Kettering have a corner right at the end of this first half here at Rockingham Road. 1-1 between Kettering and Rushden Diamonds. Phil Brown's corner, right-footed, and Rodwell heads waywardly back into the path of Brown and failed to connect cleanly with that cross. Drives it straight into the travelling hordes behind Billy Turley's goal, and that's going to be the last action of this first half. 1-1. Diamonds took the lead on 7 minutes through Miguel de Souza. Kettering equalised through a Craig Norman penalty. It's been a belting game, wet night, but the 4,000 fans inside Rockingham Road will have enjoyed what they've seen.
I think they certainly will. It's been an even contest, neither side asking any quarter nor giving any, and it promises to be a terrific second half.
Finely balanced here at Rockingham Road. Kettering Town 1, Rushden Diamonds 1 in the local derby. Join us in just a few moments for what's sure to be a cracking second half. Well, the rain's led up here at Rockingham Road. Welcome back. It's 1-1, finally poised between Kettering and the Diamonds in the County Conference derby. And although the rain has stopped, let's hope the action doesn't. It was thick and fast in the first half. It's over for more of the same, Dave.
Absolutely. It's been a terrific local derby. Very often they're pretty dull and negative games, but this one certainly hasn't been, and I know the Kettering team will want to do one better than last season when they drew here 0-0. They'll be all out, I'm sure, for 3 points, and the same goes for the Diamonds, of course.
Well, that's Butterworth's ball, which was looking for De Souza. Didn't find him though. Hatton, Brady, cross into Myson, and not much of a connection there from Michael Myson. Still, I'm not too sure about Myson up front. He's a midfielder. Well, that's what he's used to, and he's a tall fella. I'm not too sure about his touch up front. He seems to be in that target man role, which has been occupied by Mark Sale in recent games.
Is it surprising, Andrew, that Brian Talbot is having trouble finding his best formation up front? I mean, he's got so many strikers to choose from. I suppose it is difficult, really.
Well, there is an embarrassment of riches of sorts up in attack for Brian Talbot this season, as well as De Souza and Myson all playing up front tonight. You're looking at Collins and Dave Town, Mark Sale, Colin West as well, who are all fighting for those two spots up front. But of course, it's no good having all those players at your disposal if you don't know what to do with them. And Banya tries to look for Locke there, and the referee is involved as well, and Hatton won't be too happy about that. That's Fisher back to Bowden.
Well, it's still pretty even, Stephen. I think, Andrew, neither side able to dominate, and they really are two very well-matched teams.
Peters hooking the ball forward, looking for Myson. Bowden with a lovely cushion header there to Craig Norman. And Myson late on Craig Norman, and that's upset the Kettering bench and all the Kettering fans in front of us. Once again, the replay will tell us just how much contact there was there between Myson and Craig Norman. Now, Craig Norman there has gone down as if he's been hit by a sniper's rifle.
It looked to me to be a pretty bad tackle, and certainly the fans were unhappy. Michael Myson, I think, has a tendency to be a bit hard in the tackle, coming in from behind there, and then he gets Craig Norman's trailing leg.
Well, I'm not too sure there was that much contact there. Myson gets a yellow card and becomes player number 4 in tonight's local derby to be booked. Well, the referee, I guess, has done pretty well tonight.
I've certainly been impressed with him. Yeah, I think it's the first time I've seen him at Rockingham Road. He's a very tall, very powerfully built man, and I'm not sure that too many of the players will want to mince words with him.
That's probably about right. Of course, Darren Collins was sent off in his match last season. Collins not in the 16 tonight. Chance for Banya maybe, and didn't get any power behind the header. It was bouncing up to him, and he struggled to get anything behind it, really.
Perhaps just another sign of a lack of confidence with Sam Banya. He might have had time just to do a bit better than that, but Billy Turley able to cut that out really very easily.
Well, de Souza there wins the free kick. Cox was standing behind him and impeding him, according to Keith Reynolds, tonight's referee. Underwood, left-footed free kick, wasted. Although Kettering have surrendered possession themselves. Underwood gives it to Brady. Turns inside. Left-footed cross. Myson's up there. De Souza tussling there with Hopkins. Underwood. Another ball into Myson. And Myson's chest down is weak. And I'm not too sure Michael Myson is the answer to the Diamonds' attacking problems.
The game really has a sort of symmetry to it, I think. The first half, I think Kettering had the better of the possession but couldn't create any chances. And certainly in the first 10 minutes or so of the second half, it's Diamonds who look to be on top. But they too haven't really put Adam Sollett under any pressure.
Myson ending up on his backside there. It's the free kick for his troubles. Well, helps up Phil Brown there.
It's an unfair battle, that. Little and large.
Myson against Brown. Was that heavyweight against featherweight?
Something like that, yeah.
This is Brady's free kick. Nodded down towards Cooper. And McNamara sliding in there with Cooper. The ball's found its way to Brady. Right-footed ball by Brady. And up to McElhatton, and Sollett has fallen almost into his own net there, and he gets the free kick decision. Cooper and McElhatton involved. I think that was for the foul against McElhatton on Sollett.
I think, yeah, McElhatton there pushing on to Sollett. You can't get away with that. Referees give free kicks just about every time.
Well, actually did well, Sollett there in keeping the ball out of the net anyway. But Kettering are up the other end almost immediately. That's Jim Rodwell. He's done reasonably well tonight, Jim Rodwell. He's only really in the side because Darren Bradshaw is out injured. Achilles tendon injury which he picked up at Northwich. As Bowden is forced into the hurried clearance there, the Diamonds have a corner.
There's a misunderstanding there, I think, between Bowden and Sollett. And Bowden not getting the call from his goalkeeper.
Cooper's corner. Defended rather easily there by Kettering. Back to Cooper. Good cross. De Souza! Great save by Sollett. Miguel de Souza so close to scoring his second goal of the evening. Magnificent fingertip save there by Adam Sollett.
He really is a very good goalkeeper. He kept the Poppies in the game on Saturday against Forest Green with a superb save from Dennis Bailey on that occasion. But they're good header by de Souza. That's a terrific save. Premier Division stuff, I think. You don't see much better in the conference than that.
Well, bullet header from de Souza, and look at that. He can't believe it when Sollett has got his fingertips to it. Nor can the Diamonds fans behind that goal. Kettering survive. Still 1-1 at Rockingham Road, and now they're looking to expose a few holes at the back there. But Brady is able to tidy up, and Turley hacks forward as far as he can for Rushden. McElhatton. Myson there as well. Fisher tracking back and does well there, Matt Fisher. And wins the throw-in for good measure.
Good work by Fisher there. He's a real tough character. His big problem is his distribution. He wins all these tackles and then has the habit of giving the ball away, which really doesn't help the cause that much. But the fans enjoying themselves, cheering their home team along.
Cox takes that free kick and gets it back. It's dropped in, looking for Tony Locke. Warburton comes across the cover. It's a Kettering throw-in on the far side. Craig Norman. And Norman's ball is wasted.
The Poppies attacking ideas are getting a bit thin on the ground just at the minute. They're letting Diamonds come back into the game. They're having the best of it.
And McElhatton there, he was going for goal, but it would have needed a strike of monumental proportions to beat Sollett from that sort of angle. He was going for glory there. Now Underwood. Butterworth. Cooper's flick. Myson in there with Bowden. And the ball's come off Colin Bowden, and Kettering want the free kick. They're not going to get it. It's a Diamonds corner. Michael Myson, I guess, has been causing Kettering problems in the air all evening.
He certainly has. I know you were saying about him not being the ideal striker, but he puts himself about in the penalty box.
And McElhatton there. The ball bounced up to him and he's managed to direct that goalwards. Didn't know too much about the effort.
and the Diamonds just beginning to get on top a little bit now, and the Poppies will have to defend manfully. It's all hands to the pumps, really.
That was Brady, Butterworth, Myson, and De Souza beaten in the air by Craig Norman. Phil Brown, legs flying everywhere, and Phil Brown looks at the referee. But play's been allowed to continue, and that's a Kettering throw-in on the far side as Underwood risks making even more enemies from Poppy's fans.
It must be difficult being a left-sided player when you have to play down that Britannia Road touchline. I don't think you get too many compliments if you're an opposition player.
Peter Morris is about to make his second change of the evening. 23 minutes to go at Rockingham Road. Tony Locke's debut is to be short-lived. Paul Abrahams is going to be replacing him here.
Yeah, Paul Abrahams, a good player, and I think he's been a bit disappointed. He hasn't been a regular first choice, but Tony Locke, I think, has had a good debut. It's only 70 minutes long, but he's not match fit, and I think Peter Morris will be quite happy with that performance.
Well, Abrahams got the winner against Forest Green a couple of weeks ago. Kettering 4 matches so far at home this season. They've won 3, drawn the other.
That's right. Good start to their home campaign, and they're on level terms this evening as well. And
Phil Brown there forces Jim Rodwell into a hurried slice clearance, which goes straight out of play for a Poppy's throw, and they're eager to get on with it. That's McNamara. Craig Norman. Left-footed ball pumped forward, easy for Rodwell. Phil Brown. Well, Phil Brown, it was a good shooting position actually, because he found himself in a bit of space, 5 or 6 yards outside the Diamonds area there, and maybe will be disappointed that he hasn't connected with that more sweetly.
He's been trying to shoot from long range in 1 or 2 games. Phil Brown really hasn't been on the top of his form this season, and looks to be lacking just half a yard of pace, and that means perhaps that he's snatching at these shots a little bit.
Cox and Underwood. And it's well played on the far side there. Although, once again, possession surrendered. This game's so fast and frenetic. Maybe that's been the main problem for both sides. The failure of both Kettering and the Diamonds to get their foot on the ball, string a few passes together and build from the back, although the Diamonds are trying to do it here with Brady.
And of course, with just 15 minutes or so to go, neither side wanting to make a mistake.
Well, that's got to be of paramount importance for both Peter Morris and Brian Tolman and Terry Wesley, as Butterworth, who I know I keep saying it, but it's still amazing, hasn't scored for the Diamonds since March of 1998. Never been a prolific scorer, but even by his standards, that's an awful long time to go without a goal. Who's the equivalent for Kettering in that sort of sense, David?
I would think, off the top of my head, it's Paul Cox. I can't remember Paul Cox ever scoring a goal for Kettering, but he probably won't thank me for saying that. I don't know.
Butterworth certainly won't be pleased about today's viewers being reminded of his lack of goal-scoring power of late. Well, Banya booking number 5 tonight. Turley will take the free kick. Bowden wins. Underwood. 10 players behind the ball now for the Poppies. No way through for the Diamonds though.
I suppose, thinking back on the game as a whole, really there haven't been many shots on target, and whilst both goalkeepers have had a little bit of work to do, really we might have expected a bit more goal-mouth incident than we've seen.
Bowden. Warburton's got to deal with this. Banya's closing in on him, and Banya is sufficiently there to win a throw-in for Kettering over on that far side in front of the Britannia Road. Cox will take it.
It's a new tactic for Kettering, that a long throw. We haven't seen that on Rockingham Road for an awful long time. Not particularly effective, really, though.
Craig Norman there, lumping the ball into the Diamonds box, won in the air well by Warburton. De Souza. Myson. And Myson's touch lets him down once again, and McNamara and Myson there. A little bit of seconds almost. This is Duke. Brady comes across to him. Duke trying to get it onto his left peg and does well, and the ball across the face of goal is over Cooper's head. No one there for Kettering.
That was a good effort by Wayne Duke. There's been a lot of talk about him. He's only just turned 19. He really is an extremely talented and very mature player. Peter Morris, I think, has found a real jewel in this young man.
Signed from Kettering United during the summer, Wayne Duke. McElhatton. And Duke comes across to McElhatton. But a rather hurried pass forward by McElhatton, and not too sure we're going to get a winning goal, are we, David?
Well, I was just going to
seem reasonably content with the point.
I was just going to say, it looks as if both sides are going to look to shake hands and take 1 point each from the game.
Duke showed too much of that to Brady. Up to De Souza. De Souza and Cox there. Souza forced to go backwards to Butterworth. Ray Warburton. Myson to Underwood. Butterworth. Peters. Right-footed cross by Peters. Cooper. De Souza and Duke. And De Souza guilty there of impeding Wayne Duke. 15 minutes to go at Rockingham Road. Kettering Town 1, Rushden Diamonds 1. De Souza and Craig Norman has pulled back De Souza there, and the Diamonds will get a free kick. Although De Souza looks at the linesman and says, "Why didn't you let me have the advantage? I've got the ball."
I think he had a point as well. But for Kettering fans, I think they'll be happy to defend this free kick.
Brady and Underwood are standing over this. It looks like it's going to be Paul Underwood. And indeed it is. Left-footed ball in. And that was Fisher directing the ball behind his own byline. It's going to be a Diamonds corner. As the clock ticks down, Rushden are going to search for the winner from this set piece. 10 minutes to go at Rockingham Road. Cooper takes. Peters is there. Kettering get away with it. It's going to come to Colin Bowden. Anywhere will do, and indeed Kettering upfield win a throw off John Brady there.
It's funny how quickly the game can change from defence to attack. Poppy's under pressure for 1 minute and they just get a chance to break there.
Bowden. Back to Solid. Banya in the air, beaten by Jim Rodwell. McNamara. Brady. McElhatton. Norman. Back to Craig Norman. Anywhere will do. Larrups it forward with his left foot. John Brady brought down there by Paul Abrahams. And I think Abrahams might be spoken to. John Brady has come down rather theatrically. If anything there, he wants a bit of a rest, doesn't he?
I think so. I'm not sure the second half has quite lived up to the first half, which really was a terrific performance. Another substitution for Kettering. Ian Ridgway coming on for Phil Brown. Ian Ridgway's had very few opportunities, and I know that he's been a bit disappointed that he hasn't had more chances to show his skills for Kettering, but he's got a few minutes this evening, perhaps to be the match winner, who knows.
Billy Turley takes this free kick. Well, that little exchange there, Turley's kick forward, which didn't find a fellow Diamond, just about summed up this second half, David, I think.
Yeah, it's been a bit disappointing. But nevertheless, I think it's been a good local derby, and as we've said already, certainly better than the game at Rockingham Road last season.
Well, definitely an improvement on that rather turgid 90 minutes of football. This is Myson. Well, Kettering fans aren't happy that the decision's gone Myson's way there. The player accused of tripping him was Matt Fisher. Free kick in a position where we have seen the Diamonds cause opponents problems in matches past. Mark Cooper in particular likes to bend them from this sort of distance. So does Underwood. We've also seen John Brady have a pop as well. They're all over this. Oh well, the Diamonds have messed that up, and Underwood bends that wildly over Solid's crossbar.
I don't think that was worked out on the training field, do you?
Certainly doesn't look like it. Well, that's Paul Underwood there. Scorer of 1 goal so far this season. A fine goal it was too. Flying header against Kidderminster in a bizarre game at Nen Park about 3 weeks ago. Kettering yet to face Kidderminster Harriers, Jan Mulby's Kidderminster, but already in this opening month of the season, you might say that Kettering have got some of their most difficult matches out of the way already.
Every game this season in the conference is difficult, but the Kettering side certainly have had their fair share of tough battles to contend with, and really they've done quite well, I think, to be where they are at this stage of the season. They're certainly no one's pushovers, that's for sure.
Kettering have already been to Stevenage and to Yeovil and to Hereford. The Diamonds yet to come up against one of this season's recognised title contenders, as Banya wants something for that. Well, that was Warburton. Was there too much wrong with that? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either, but Sam's got a bit of a bang on the head there, I think, and a bit of treatment will see him all right.
Just talking about the other sides in the conference, Stevenage were, without wanting to sound wise after the event, David, I've quite fancied Stevenage at the start of this season to do good things in the conference. As Duke has a pop at the ref there. But Nuneaton already up there in the top 3.
They're obviously playing very well, but I think at this stage of the season, we keep saying there's always one team that comes out the pack that no one expects to do well, and whether they'll still be there in May remains to be seen.
5 minutes to go. Rodwell's header, and that's off the bar. And from Brady's free kick, the Diamonds go so close to snatching a late winner, and Kettering are so pleased to see that ball nestle into the arms of Solid. Well, that would have been a frantic finale, but already Kettering are on the attack at the other end with Ian Ridgway, and he looks as though he might have run into a bit of trouble. Underwood's across to him, Peters there as well, and McElhatton, and that one fades out for Kettering. But well, what a finish that would have been, David. What are we, 4 minutes to go?
Yeah, something like that, and it was a terrific header by Rodwell. We can see the ball swung into the box. Rodwell gets up and heads onto the crossbar. Solid was beaten, and the Poppies lucky to get away with that, I think. And the heavy pitch beginning to take its toll. It looks as if Brett McNamara's got a touch of cramp, although he hurt his ankle against Hendersford a couple of games ago, and he's been struggling ever since. But real let off for the Poppies, but a nice run from Ian Ridgway as well, and he's doing all he can to impress his manager.
The closing stages in the first local derby of the season between Kettering Town and Rushden Diamonds, and as the game nears its finish, the fans still in splendid voice here at Rockingham Road.
It really is a treat to be here, just as it was down at Nen Park at the end of last season. And as I said earlier, I just wonder why they don't come week after week, but there we are. Hopefully they've enjoyed their evening, and perhaps they will.
Banya and Rodwell, and Kettering are going to get the free kick here right on the edge of the Diamonds box. We've had 90 minutes according to my watch. It's going to be a free kick in a very, very threatening position.
Certainly is. I don't think it's Craig Norman territory, this. Of course, he's renowned for his free kicks from distance. Looks to me like Paul Abrahams fancies a little go at this. I'm not sure whether he's going to go for goal or whether it'll be knocked to the far post, to see whether any of the tall defenders can get something on it right at the death here.
Well, looks as if Abrahams is shaping up for an effort on goal here. Diamond's wall, will it do its job? And Abrahams drills it to Turley's left, but the goalkeeper was well behind that. Not too much fizz in that effort from Paul Abrahams. And it's going to be a draw in the county conference derby. The referee is bringing the whistle to his lips. It's all over. Rushden Diamonds have come to Rockingham Road and held Kettering Town to a 1-1 draw. They took the lead early on through Miguel de Souza on just 7 minutes. Craig Norman equalised there for Kettering with a 34th minute penalty. A draw, probably looking back on it, a fair result.
I think it was a fair result, and it will be interesting to see as we get to May whether this result has any significant bearing on the outcome of the conference title. Far too early to tell yet, but I think both sides can take a lot of credit for what's been a very entertaining performance, and I'm sure both managers will be pleased with their team's efforts.
Kettering Town's unbeaten home record in the conference this season remains intact. 3 wins and 2 draws from their 5 matches so far at Rockingham Road. For Rushden Diamonds, it's a case of a vastly improved performance on Saturday's shambolic capitulation at home to Woking. They've come to Rockingham Road tonight and contributed to a belting game. Typical local derby, plenty of tackles flying in, cracking atmosphere. It's ended 1-1, a fair result. Both sides happy, I guess, with a point for the Diamonds. They're still above Kettering in the conference table.
Both teams looking to obviously get nearer to the top of the table. We knew we had to improve after our disappointing performance on Saturday, and the response we got the players was much better. We felt in the second half we edged it and should have gone on and won the game.
Certainly, I was going to say, Diamonds won't be disappointed. I get the impression tonight with the draw, certainly after what happened against Woking on Saturday.
We know we can do a lot better than that, and we'd sat and had meetings with the players, and the meetings had sat down with themselves as well and spoke about Saturday's performance. They felt it was a one-off. We were looking for a positive attitude, and the first 20 minutes we really got amongst people. We won lots of tackles here, we were putting the ball in their box, we scored. McElhatton's had a second chance to go 2-0 up. And then we've just come off the pedal a little bit, and in the second half of the first period, they've got on top of us, and they've got their penalty, and they've got their goal. But second half, we come back out, and I felt we dominated them.
You know, it was important we came here, rolled our sleeves up, and, you know, got stuck in, to be honest with you, against a side that are difficult to play against. Everybody knows Kettering are difficult to play against. It's a local derby. But, you know, we came out of it with some credit. I thought, you know, a draw was probably a fair result, but maybe we just edged it with chances.
New look attack tonight, De Souza up front alongside Michael Myson.
Yes.
De Souza scored, of course, a gamble that paid off.
Yes, Collins weren't quite fit in any case, and the manager decided to change the team round a little bit. The front has been a problem for us because the ball hasn't been sticking enough. So in that case, you can't get your midfield players playing. Tonight was a little bit better, and we'll continue to work on that.
So a 1-1 draw, satisfied?
Not satisfied because I felt we could have won it in the end, and it would have been great for all our supporters who had come over here. But delighted to get the show back on the road, and now it's important that we take that sort of attitude on the pitch on Saturday when we're at home.